You've heard the word strategy a million times, right? It gets thrown around in meetings like confetti. We all use it, we all hear it, but what does it actually mean? Well, it turns out we might be getting it wrong a lot more often than we think. Here's a classic that I'm sure you've heard, or hey, maybe you've even said it yourself. Our strategy is to be the low-cost provider. It sounds official, right? It sounds decisive. It definitely sounds like a strategy. It's the kind of statement that gets everyone in the boardroom nodding along. But let me ask you, is it really a strategy? And here's the thing that might surprise you. No, it's not this. This and a whole bunch of other phrases just like it are not complete strategies. They're just one piece of a much, much bigger puzzle. Think of these more like strategic threads, things like going global or being the first mover or having amazing customer service. They're all super important, their goals, their tactics, but they aren't the whole tapestry. They don't really explain the how or the why in a way that can guide an entire company. To really get it, we need to go back, way back. See, the whole idea of strategy is a lot older, and honestly, a lot more high stakes than your average business meeting. It actually comes from the battlefield. The word itself comes straight from the Greek strategos, which literally means the art of the general. This isn't about one single move. It's about orchestrating an entire war to achieve victory. The stakes couldn't be higher. And this example just perfectly illustrates the difference. Think about it. Did the great General Hannibal say, "Our strategy is to beat Rome"? No, that wasn't his strategy. That was his goal. His strategy was the brilliant, the unexpected, the completely integrated plan of how he would do it by crossing the Alps in winter, a move his enemies thought was completely impossible. So you see, here's what's so crucial. A general provides that high-level orchestration. They see the entire battlefield, they coordinate every single unit, and they even have to make the tough calls, like sacrificing one piece in order to win the entire war. That big picture view? That is the heart of a true strategy. Okay, so how do we take this art of the general and actually use it in the business world? Well, lucky for us, there's a framework for that. And it all boils down to answering four key questions. So, if a simple goal isn't enough, what does a complete, really robust strategy actually look like? Okay, here we go. A true strategy gives you clear answers to these four questions. Number one, the arena. Where are we going to compete? You have to define your battlefield. Two, the differentiator. What unique value do we bring to that arena? That's your killer move. Three, the toolkit. What resources and capabilities do we actually have to pull this off? That's your arsenal. And finally, number four, the moat. How are we going to sustain that value and keep winning? That's your defense. Let's see how this works in the real world. All right, enough with the theory. Let's make this real. Let's take a company we all know and see how this framework just clicks into place. Let's talk about IKEA. Just look at how clearly IKEA answers all four of our questions. Their arena, young, style-conscious people all over the world. Their unique value, stylish, affordable furniture that you can take home that very same day. Their resources, I mean, come on, world-class in-house design, a massive supplier network, and of course, the genius of flat pack shipping. And their moat, this is the best part. It's the way all of these pieces work together in a system that's so complex, it's almost impossible for anyone else to copy. And what's just as important as what IKEA does is what it very deliberately doesn't do. It doesn't try to compete in the high-end luxury market. It doesn't provide white glove delivery service. It doesn't even make its own furniture. These aren't accidents. These are very specific choices that create incredible focus. And this brings us to such a critical takeaway. A great strategy is just a clear set of choices. It draws a line in the sand and says, this is who we are and this is what we are not. And that clarity, that's pure power. So seeing how a giant like IKEA uses this framework makes it all feel really concrete, right? But here's the best part. This isn't just for huge global companies. The real power here is in taking this same way of thinking and applying it to your own work. Now, while this four-question framework is an absolutely fantastic starting point, it is worth remembering that the world of strategy is, well, it's huge, and there are other important perspectives that add even more depth. For example, the great strategist Henry Mintzberg argued that sometimes your real strategy isn't planned out at all. It actually emerges from your day-to-day actions. It's the pattern you see when you look back and realize what was actually working. It reminds us that strategy can be about learning and adapting. And of course, there's timing. A brilliant strategy executed at the wrong moment can still fall flat. But no matter what, having clear answers to our 4 questions gives you that essential foundation to build on. So let's lock this in. The next time you're in a meeting and you hear that word strategy, I want you to run it through this checklist in your mind. Does it explain where we'll compete, the unique value we'll bring, the resources we'll use, and how we're going to sustain it? If the answer is no, you're probably just looking at one of those threads, not the whole tapestry. And that leaves us with one final and really crucial question. Whether it's for your business, your team, or maybe even just for your own career, can you answer all 4 of those questions? So, what's your strategy?